Happening now, shooting suspect indicted, the latest in the Buffalo Tops massacre and the push underway in New York to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. And an update on a fatal farm tractor crash in northern Chautauqua County as charges are placed and the victim is identified. Plus, the future of Jamestown's YMCA on the table as we get an inside look at the plan to build a new facility here in town.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The Buffalo shooting suspect, Peyton Grengen, has been formally indicted by a grand jury. The indictment was announced this morning during a brief court appearance for the 18-year-old white man accused of carrying out a racially motivated mass shooting at a Tops grocery store in Buffalo on Saturday, killing 10 people. Another 3 were injured in that shooting. Of the 13 victims shot, 11 of them were black. In posts online and in a 180-page document, investigators believe that Grengen described himself as a white supremacist, a fascist, and an anti-Semitist. He wrote that he targeted the Buffalo supermarket because it had the highest concentration of black people here in upstate New York. Grengen, who drove 200 miles to the area and live streamed that shooting on social media, previously pled not guilty to a charge of first-degree murder. Other charges prosecutors say are expected. He's due back in court next on June 9th. And in the wake of Saturday's mass shooting, Governor Kathy Hochul is laying out a comprehensive package to combat gun violence. WENY's Marcia Augustin has more on the series of executive orders.
Not only is Governor Hochul looking to combat hate and gun violence, but also the rise in domestic terrorism, strengthening state gun laws, and a major crackdown on social media sites that promote extremist acts of violence.
He got in his car after surveillance and visiting the site in the past and drove 3 hours with one goal, and that was to execute black New Yorkers.
And Governor Hochul says her goal is to help stop the violence across the state, unveiling a package which proposes legislation to close gun loopholes and strengthen gun reporting. Captain Bill Saltz with the Elmira Police Department says the goal with legislation like this is to help reduce crime. He explains under New York State penal law, there is a definition of a firearm and believes Hochul wants to include more types of weapons into that category.
To charge more people with a crime. Obviously, the ghost guns are a huge issue for us. When they're not marked, they don't have serial numbers, they're not tracked or traced by law enforcement or any state or federal database.
Hochul also issued 2 executive orders, one that would require state police to seize guns under the state's red flag law to prohibit potentially dangerous people from possessing and purchasing weapons. Officials say Peyton Gendron, the 18-year-old active shooter, had an AR-15 rifle, which was purchased legally but illegally modified. Gendron had undergone a medical evaluation after making murder-suicide threats at his high school. However, no action was taken to keep him from purchasing weapons.
He's got some radical ideology and some clearly racist hatred towards people.
Something else Hochul is pushing to pass? Bills that would mark bullets and cartridge cases with a unique fingerprint. Captain Salt says this will help them identify the gun that was used to fire bullets in a crime. It's identifiable, like a serial number.
Microstamping is more unique. It's going to have a micro stamp on the firing pin, so when we get shell casings from a crime scene, we can send those to the lab and they will be able to identify that this was fired from a specific gun.
Now, Hochul's other executive order is designed to target online extremism and establish a new domestic terrorism unit with the Office of Counterterrorism, and will have state police dedicate a unit to monitoring social media sites for extremist threats. She's also requesting the AG's office investigate social media sites that promote hate and the role they play in these acts of violence.
Marcia, thank you. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill yesterday aimed to prevent domestic terrorism and combat the threat of violent extremism by white supremacists. This comes in the wake of that mass shooting in Buffalo. The final vote was 222 for the bill and 203 against it. The Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2022 would set up offices that track and analyze domestic terrorist activity with the goal of preventing future attacks. Next, the bill will head to the Senate for consideration, where its fate is uncertain. And the Buffalo Bills visited the Tops grocery store yesterday, paying their respects to the victims who lost their lives in this senseless shooting over the weekend. Bills quarterback Josh Allen and wide receiver Stephon Diggs were a few of the star players who visited the Buffalo Bills shooting memorial there along Jefferson Avenue, honoring the 10 lives lost in the racially motivated attack. Members of the Buffalo Sabres and Bandits also joined the Bills in giving back to the community and making their presence felt following the tragedy, taking pictures and signing autographs to lift some spirits during these dark moments. And certainly that's the big thing here is with all of the negativity that is taking place, I think the community coming together, I know we talked about that on our show Tuesday, Dakota, with the president's visit. It's so powerful to see, and nevertheless you have these amazing sports franchises in Buffalo. And regardless of the sport politics of it, so to speak, you have these teams come together and show their
Yeah, I mean, the Buffalo Bills out there, along with I think the Bandits were out there as well. I mean, just trying to bring the whole community together is kind of what it's about. And I think the Patriots even did the same thing after the Boston Marathon shooting or bombing that happened several years ago. I think the Patriots and some of the Boston teams kind of got together and tried to reel the communities. So it's nice to see that. So.
Yeah, it definitely is. Wherever you are, I think everybody's getting in on it. And it looks like depending on where you're going to be getting on some rain. There's a gentleman right now behind you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's taking a cig break, it looks like.
So for the kids that are watching, you don't need to see that. But anyway, this is the Lakeside Park Sky Cam. And you can see some of the rain that has fallen from this morning. And yeah. So let's move on past that. Hello. There we go. So this is the satellite radar composite. We're still dealing with a few light drips across the inlandmost southern tier, but the clouds really are the story for the early afternoon. But as we go through the later part of the afternoon, the clouds are going to start to break apart, so we should see some sunshine by the end of the day. 58 was the high yesterday, started the day at 49, 88, and 29 are the records for today. We're going to get nowhere near that. So through the afternoon today, those early afternoon showers will come to an end. It gradually becomes partly to mostly sunny by the end of the day. 64 on the highest hills to 74 across the lower elevations. Now we have a severe weather potential going into the weekend. We will time it all out with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you back in a bit. As WNY News Now continues, an update on the fatal farm tractor crash here in Chautauqua County as deputies identify the Jamestown farmer who died from his injuries. And later, the future of the Jamestown YMCA takes center stage as officials with that nonprofit discuss a plan to build a new facility here in town. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Chautauqua County is in dire need of child care providers, and we need your help. The Chautauqua Child Care Council is hosting several special webinars to help you enter the child care industry. Setting up a child care program is easier than you think. It could start in your home, caring for a few children, or grow into a large operation at a daycare center. If financials are a challenge, no worries. The New York State Office of Children and Family Services is offering a grant opportunity to help you get started.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
A 34-year-old Dunkirk woman is behind bars after allegedly stabbing another woman in the throat overnight. Around 12:20 in the morning Thursday, City of Dunkirk police officers responded to an address on Webster Street for the reported crime. When they arrived on scene, they found a victim with a laceration to her neck. She was taken to Dunkirk's Brooks Memorial Hospital for treatment of her injuries. Following an investigation, police said Shauna Moreland stabbed the woman with a knife. She was charged with felony assault and criminal possession of a weapon. She was held in custody, awaiting arraignment today. And a 76-year-old Jamestown man was killed following a crash involving his farm tractor over this past weekend. In an update from Monday's report, the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office identified 76-year-old Samuel Rivesto as the victim from the Sunday afternoon crash in the town of Hanover. Following an investigation there, it's alleged that Arthur Zinda of South Dayton was traveling south on Allegheny Road when his 2021 Ford Ranger failed to notice a blue Holland Farm tractor on the shoulder of the road. Zenda, deputies say, then struck that tractor, causing Rivesto to be ejected from his machine. He sustained serious injuries as a result, and deputies said was later pronounced deceased at Brooks Memorial Hospital. Zenda was later issued a citation for unsafe passing. And the plan to build a brand new YMCA facility in Jamestown is moving forward, with officials from the nonprofit now seeking financial support. Our Bronson Rasmussen has more.
This week, Tom Benson with the Jamestown YMCA gave City Council members a first look at the proposed $31 million building planned for the north side of Harrison Street.
We have to be able to say to New York State, other foundations like the Wilson Foundation, other funding sources that, this is an important project locally, and here's who's in and have shown support.
The YMCA has already pursued funding from other sources and now are asking local leaders to help get the project underway.
We haven't had a chance to officially ask the city for anything yet, but we're hopefully going to get to the point where we're asking the city for $2 million out of the federal recovery funds.
Without help from the city, officials say the facility could close in the next few years.
If we aren't successful raising the money to build this facility, the existing Y will be gone within 2 or 3 years. It's just not sustainable.
As part of the effort to keep the Jamestown YMCA local, Benson is working with the local Boys and Girls Club and other organizations nearby.
The Y has entered into an agreement with the Greater Buffalo Y. It's a management agreement with intent to merge.
The proposed building plans feature a larger indoor track, 2 pools, a double basketball court, a child care center, among other additions. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. Back in October, the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency sold the 3-acre lot on the north side of Harrison Street between Windsor Street for $29,000 to the group. A 25-year-old man accused of stealing a Chautauqua County assemblyman's car is now facing charges connected to this crime. New York State Police say Albany resident Alex Segal turned himself into troopers this week. He's accused of stealing Assemblyman Andy Goodell's 2009 BMW from an underground parking garage at the state legislature office building last week. Investigators report that after gaining access to that parking area, he found the vehicle unlocked with the keys inside. He's also accused of stealing other tools that were in the area. Following a brief joyride, troopers said he totaled that car during a crash just a couple blocks away. You see the damage here. State police released surveillance photos of the man, who was later identified by an anonymous tip. He now faces felony charges, including criminal possession of stolen property. He was later released on his own recognizance. And in election news, Libertarian candidate for New York Governor Larry Sharpe made a campaign stop to Chautauqua County last night, meeting with potential voters and addressing points of his political agenda. Our Alyssa Wright has more on his campaign for office.
From clean energy, issues in public schooling, LGBTQIA+ matters, and even the future of women's reproductive rights in New York, gubernatorial candidate Larry Sharpe has a full agenda. While speaking in Bemis Point, Sharpe talked about the homelessness crisis in New York.
We should be having specific homes sponsored by companies, pharmaceutical companies, doctors' offices, large organizations, where it is specifically for a group of people like, for example, working mothers, single moms, as an example, veterans who can assimilate, whatever the case may be.
As for clean energy, the candidate jumped into the wind turbine debate, a hot topic in our community.
Biggest piece to be concerned about, I'll go local and then overall. Local is right now the boards that are putting in the solar plants and the wind power and all those things, they are not elected. They are not accountable to the local people at all, and they need to be.
Sharpe also proposed a way to increase teachers' pay, upgrade technology, and improve public schooling as a whole.
Local people have more control over their individual school districts, which means you don't require all those administrators. There's a chunk of administrators across New York State who are only administrators because of federal and or state guidelines. Many of them make $300,000-$400,000 a year, while the average teacher makes between like $16,000-$80,000 a year. You fire some of those administrators, you can give teachers raises, spend more money, buy computers, whatever is the thing.
He also discussed LGBT+ relations.
I usually use the acronym GSM. GSM stands for Gender and Sexual Minorities. It's much easier than the alphabet soup. So we support everybody's right. You do you, absolutely. And anything that is actively hurting anyone in the GSM community, I'm going to be against.
The last point Sharpe touched on was concerning women's reproductive rights.
I do want less abortions in New York State. While I would never want the government to decide what should happen with a woman's body, ever, whenever you do that, what always happens, whenever you establish any prohibition, you always wind up punishing poor women. That's how it works. I do not want to punish poor women. What do I want to do? I want to give poor women more choices so they choose to not have abortion.
Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you. For more election coverage, check out our website at WNYNewsNow.com. Be sure to click on the Election 2022 tab. Well, coming up, the latest actions to address the baby formula crisis nationwide and a possible solution here at home. And later on, we hear from officials in northern Chautauqua County about the return of some big summertime events. But first, when we come back, a full look at our weather forecast. Stay right there. WNY News Now is back now.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area. Hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at the Northwest Arena as we ring in summer vacation with a party featuring snacks, music, and more. In addition, several groups will be on hand speaking with both kids and parents about the plethora of activities available to keep our youth occupied. Then later in the evening, finish out the home run day with a night of fun at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. As a PE teacher, I know the importance of keeping kids busy this summer, so stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. You can learn more online at ccsolutions716.com and watch for updates on the Collaborative Children's Solutions Facebook page.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Well, welcome back. Let's take a look at those rainfall totals from last night and then early this morning. Olean, you had the most amount of rain at a little over half an inch worth of rain there. Jamestown, half an inch. Kennedy, a little less than a half an inch there, 0.48. Clymer, 0.46. Randolph at 400ths of an inch and Mayville at 300ths of an inch. So this was from last night and then early this morning. The rain has pretty much tapered off now across much of the western southern tier. You can see lots of clouds downtown from the News Now cam. We're at 56, so it's a chilly day still, but look at the wind, west at 17 and a wind gust at 21. We do have some low-lying fog, so the visibility is down to 7 miles at the Jamestown airport, so watch out for that through the early part of the afternoon. Now, the bigger story is going to come over the weekend. This is the day 3 severe weather convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and we are under a marginal risk. That's a level 1 out of 5 for pretty much all of the southern tier and much of northwestern Pennsylvania. The main threat on Saturday is mainly going to be some strong winds. But it doesn't end on Saturday because the SPC also has us under a 15% risk. Understand we talked about this before. The risk numbers get confusing, but basically it's a 15% risk across all of the region for Sunday. And this is as a cold front approaches. There could be some strong to severe storms again on Sunday. The main threats with this is looking like another damaging wind and maybe a hail threat. So of course, we'll keep our eyes on this over the weekend. First Defense Doppler radar right now, we still have a few of these little lagging showers across Cattaraugus County. After these go to bed, it's pretty much going to start to turn drier for the afternoon, and we may even see some breaks of sun. You can actually see some of the clearing across the western part of Lake Erie. That is going to start to move in here, and then we're going to start to see some clearing for the overnight. So here's the newest runner future scan, painting a couple of those isolated showers. Then the clouds start to clear out for the later part of the afternoon hours. And into this evening, partly to mostly cloudy will be mainly the weather story for tonight. Tomorrow, I think the better chance of rain will likely be in the morning. We may see a couple rumbles of thunder. We could see again a pop-up shower or storm in the afternoon tomorrow as the humidity really increases tomorrow. Along with the heat, we're talking 80s for much of the area tomorrow with lots more humidity. We will start to shake loose those showers Friday night, and then on Saturday, here comes the next round of showers and thunderstorms coming on in, and again, some of this could be a bit on the stronger side. So talking about the muggy meter, there it is. We go into the humid category for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then finally by Monday, we knock it back down. So the next 7, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, you can see we'll be into the lower to mid 80s for Friday and Saturday, feeling like Florida around here the next couple of days. And then Sunday, we are still watching that severe weather potential. That's why we highlight that in red. Then it turns cooler again Monday and Tuesday, turns drier, then just a few scattered showers, Justin, for next Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Feeling like southern Florida there with those temperatures and humidity, Dakota, but it could always be snowing, right? Oh. Thank you, sir. The government is taking more steps to address the baby formula shortage. 2 bills are headed to the Senate after passing in the House late last night, and President Joe Biden now invoking the Defense Production Act. As desperate parents struggle to feed their babies, the government taking more of these actions to help low-income families use their WIC benefits better. A second bill, which passed, would have the FDA roll out inspectors at formula plants. Meanwhile, President Biden says he's invoking the Defense Production Act to help formula makers get ingredients more quickly, and he's sending planes overseas to bring back more formula too. Now, criticism is growing about how long it took to get these actions rolled out. The formula plant at the heart of the nationwide recall shut down back in February. And here locally, area dairy farmers are claiming they can help with the baby formula crisis, saying that goat milk is the next best thing to breast milk. Erie News Now's Haley Potter reports.
Parents here locally and across the nation continue to experience a baby formula shortage. And now one unlikely group is trying to help. Goat dairy farmers.
I recommend it.
Dick and Nancy Bernhardt raised their child on goat milk from their family farm, starting him when he was a sick infant.
His pediatrician, we happened to just say we have to go home and milk our goats, and he said, "You have goat milk? Give that boy goat milk." and he was fine.
They can't sell it at their farm because they don't have a license, but ever since, they've given that goat milk to family and friends, and they recommend getting any type of goat milk, whether it be from a farmer or a grocery store, as a replacement for formula during this shortage.
Formula is not available. You have to find something else, and that's really good.
They tell me you can add some vital vitamins the baby needs in other ways, and they say having a goat and milking goats is quite an easy process.
So you wash the udder off and you milk by hand and take it in the house, strain it.
And after cooling, the milk is clean and ready for consumption. So now we know exactly what goes into making this goat milk, but some parents are still skeptical what they're feeding their newborn babies. So we talked to a pediatrician to hear their thoughts.
I would not agree that goat milk is a good alternative to formula.
Dr. Robert Burns of Children's Community Pediatrics says he doesn't recommend goat or cow's milk or any homemade formula for infants because it's diluting the much needed nutrients.
It is not fortified and easily digestible for kids less than 1 year of age.
He knows firsthand how much of a problem this shortage is and says breastfeeding is his #1 suggestion. If that's not possible, he says to look online or at food banks to find formula.
Any formula that's available for your baby is the best formula.
Haley Potter, Erie News Now.
Haley, thank you. The doctor is encouraging expecting moms to breastfeed, but says he thinks if the Abbott plant opens back up soon, that shortage will start to let up. If this week's Republican primary for governor in PA taught us anything, it's that more money doesn't always mean more votes. Doug Mastriano, who will be the Republican candidate for November's race, spent a fraction of what some of his competitors spent. In the latest cycle, Mastriano spent about $490,000. When combined with Barletta's $790,000, the two finished total about $1.3 million. Third and fourth place finishers Bill McSwain and David White combined for nearly $10 million. McSwain was the highest spender at about $7.2 million. Mastriano says in his victory speech that despite being outspent by millions, his campaign was successful because their vision of the Commonwealth aligned with voters.
Our view for Pennsylvania is one of hope and freedom, that people come here and walk as they see fit, not as some governor or some media hack sees fit.
Now, Mastriano and nominee for Lieutenant Governor Carrie Lewis Del Resso will be facing off against Josh Shapiro and Senate Representative Austin Davis come November. Next, a look at the plethora of summer activities returning to Dunkirk pretty soon.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Visit the Northwest Arena on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. Learn about activities available to youth in the Jamestown area, plus end the night with fireworks at the Tarp Skunks game. Learn more online at ccsolutions716.com.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights. Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Finally here today, a plethora of activities will be turning this year for residents in northern Chautauqua County to enjoy. City of Dunkirk officials made an announcement at the Boardwalk Market yesterday, surrounded by local supporters and business owners. Several events, which in recent years had to be called off due to the pandemic, will be making a comeback this summer season. The beloved traditions like the Memorial Day Parade, which frequently attracts thousands of visitors, as well as the summer concert series are just a few of the happenings. During the announcement, officials stressed that community support is vital for these events to take place. Along with Dunkirk Mayor Willie Rosas, City Events Coordinator Ryan Hall and other local leaders detailed some of the schedule ahead.
We have a long, full list of summer events. We're very excited. And also, I just want to piggyback off what Mayor Rosas stated about our sponsors. I truly am very, very grateful to work with all our sponsors. Without their wonderful, generous donations, we wouldn't have these fabulous events like this. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
More info on the schedule at dunkirk.com. That's it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look outside. Have a great day.